49ers 2-minute drill. Today, Brandon Aiyuk spoke publicly in an interview for the first time since his holdout officially began during the veteran mandatory June minicamp. It was on the Pivot podcast hosted by Ryan Clark. And I figured since that was a long appearance, it was nearly an hour for Brandon Aiyuk, I figured that I'd bring you the Spark Notes with today's 2-minute drill. The Spark Notes start with this quote about Brock Purdy. From Brandon Aiyuk, quote, "The guys can feel his confidence, feel his energy. They can feel the preparation, and you can feel it's real and the talent is real. I can't say enough about that dude. He's nice," end quote. So Brandon Aiyuk, obviously a Brock Purdy fan. The rapport there is notable. And the 49ers ultimately hold the cards in these negotiations with Brandon Aiyuk because he's already under contract for 2024. If you're getting ready to commit long-term to Brock Purdy, you're probably going to want to keep the receiver with whom he has greatest rapport around, and that is Brandon Aiyuk. All right, make this a little bit bigger as we go through my tweets from today's interview with Brandon Aiyuk. Brandon Aiyuk spoke on the Pivot podcast about his, quote, "they don't want me" comment. He said, "The 49ers told me that they didn't think we were on the same page." Later in the same thought, he said, "It was part of the contract negotiation." I think that's really, really important to emphasize. People thought that that was Brandon Aiyuk saying, "Oh, the 49ers don't want me." They literally meant that and literally said that. They didn't. He acknowledged today that it was just part of the negotiation. I think a lot of people probably need to learn how negotiations work. Later on, he says that, quote, he's enjoying the process of this contract negotiation. He mentioned that he's been a constant fixture in the media recently as part of that answer. Aiyuk said that, or seemed to at least imply that he's enjoying a lot of the attention that he is getting. And then further down, Brandon Aiyuk said that there have been days where he's thought a deal with the 49ers has been close, and days when he's thought that it's been very far away. Obviously, a little bit further away right now, because Aiyuk confirmed what we had theorized earlier this offseason. Said other receivers have changed the market over the length of his negotiations with the 49ers that have took up this offseason. And when we talk about other receivers, probably talking about Justin Jefferson in specific. Aiyuk seems to think that he deserves very high money, maybe not as high as Justin Jefferson, but there's just such a wide gap in between Jefferson and the rest of the receivers that it makes sense that there's contract polarization. Wasn't good for getting Aiyuk and the 49ers on the same page. Even if they might have been close earlier, doesn't mean that Aiyuk was willing to sign on the dotted line that the 49ers were willing to sign on. Obviously, if both sides had been willing at a certain price point, this would have been done a whole lot sooner. But the 49ers haven't caved, and neither has Brandon Aiyuk, at least yet. So we move on to the next set of tweets. Brandon Aiyuk, quote, "I'm taking it personal." He said that he was asked if he would take a 49ers hometown discount, and he said no. But then he said, "We'll see." So it's one of those where Brandon Aiyuk obviously has already acknowledged that he's posturing to some degree. As far as a hometown discount goes, he might have to take one if he wants the financial security this offseason. Aiyuk can play on $14.1 million this season if he wants to. That contract already guaranteed to him by the 49ers. If he wants to go more than that, if he wants a bigger deal with more long-term security, it does sound and it is apparent that the 49ers hold the leverage in this negotiation. So Aiyuk is probably going to have to be the one to budge. Aiyuk talked about the meeting that he had with the 49ers this week, although this was a tape-delayed podcast. So he talked about that meeting before it happened. He said if that meeting didn't go in the right direction, he'd be open to playing with his friend Jaden Daniels in Washington. Jaden was actually in the room during this interview. Now, this is more posturing from Brandon Aiyuk. He could play with Jaden Daniels in Washington if the 49ers want that to happen, if the Commanders want that to happen, and if the trade between those two teams is consummated. But until that happens, and the 49ers right now have been very clear throughout the entire offseason, they want Aiyuk playing with them. Until that happens, it is purely fantasy. Brandon Aiyuk also talked about what kind of statistical production he could put up in an offense where he's more featured. That's also fantasy because he's playing for the 49ers right now, where he was number 23 in targets last year, number 7 in total yards. So he's number 1 in the NFL in yards per target, which is a big reason why I think Brandon Aiyuk does potentially command some good money from the 49ers. They want to lock him down here for some time because he has that rapport with Brock Purdy. They just can't go outside their cost structure. They don't want to extend themselves beyond their leverage and start bidding against themselves like the Minnesota Vikings with Justin Jefferson. It's not what great franchises do. So the 49ers are trying to be as cost efficient as possible here in the Brandon Aiyuk situation. He also talked a little bit about the drama on social media that happened right after the Super Bowl. And he said, I didn't realize how down I was, emotionally down I was. The Super Bowl loss was emotional for everybody. And then finally here, social media is a way for me to leverage myself. And what I'm just trying to get the facts out there. An explanation from Brandon Aiyuk on why he has tried to negotiate this, or at least talk about this, through the media. We might have a little bit more. Yes, we do. Will Brandon Aiyuk, or what uniform will Brandon Aiyuk wear in 2024? If I were to take a guess, probably a Niner uniform. He also, today Brandon Aiyuk did show up at the 49ers facility, according to his Instagram live. There's video of him driving through the gates there. A lot of people were speculating, could this be another meeting with the 49ers? Is it contract related? The answer is probably not, because he said on the pre-tape podcast that he'll return to the 49ers building to work out. And he shouts out to San Francisco strength coach Dustin Perry. Aiyuk, obviously, with the video this morning, connected the dots for us. Sounds like he likes to work out at the facility, which is an arrow up in favor of the possibility of a long-term deal getting done. On the Pivot podcast, Brandon Aiyuk also cited his blocking ability when touting his value for the contract negotiations with the 49ers. He said, quote, I'm an extended tackle with San Francisco. So there you have it. That's the Brandon Aiyuk situation. A lot of coverage on that today because a few more developments with this first interview happening. Obviously, the Instagram live story. It's remarkable to me that we're still talking about this on June 28th. Normally, this is a lull, a little bit of a dead period. Not this time with Brandon Aiyuk. As far as other articles go, Matt Barrows and I wrote about Christian McCaffrey today in the 49ers state of the running back position. Will Kyle Shanahan ease Christian McCaffrey's workload? Go ahead and check the link to this article in the description. A lot of cool data in this article, including this right here. This is yards after contact per attempt from Pro Football Focus of the 49ers running backs last season. And I'm going to put it up on the screen just so you can take a look at where everybody stands. McCaffrey, everybody in the blue, by the way, above average. McCaffrey, 3.35. Deebo Samuel, 3.21. Jordan Mason, a good number, but the pass protection is going to have to be better. Elijah Mitchell at 2.9. Even Brock Purdy, 2.53 yards after contact. Maybe we see him run a little bit more in the 2024 season. Anyway, that article is in the description. You can go ahead and check it out on Christian McCaffrey. There you go. All right, that's the 2-minute drill. Brandon Aiyuk, if I were to take a guess, probably a Niner uniform. First public interview comments since the holdout began. Will it continue? Let me know your thoughts on how you evaluated Brandon Aiyuk's interview. Did it make you happy? Did it make you sad? Did it make you angry? Are you ambivalent? Are you sick of it? You can let me know in the comment section. We'll talk to you really soon.